Hello everyone, welcome to Gray's Gyan. Today we are going to study a very important topic, cell polarity and domains. I am going to explain it so simply that no interviewer or examiner will be able to catch you off guard on this topic. So let's get started. First of all, what exactly is cell polarity? Our body is covered with epithelia. These are continuous sheets of cells that line every surface and cavity in the body. Now, these cells have a very special feature. The environment on both sides is completely different. On one side, we have the lumen, meaning the inside of the intestine, or the airway, or in the case of the epidermis, the outside world. And on the other side, we have blood and connective tissue, meaning the body's internal compartment. Because both sides are different, the cell also has to perform different functions from its top and its bottom. This is exactly what we call cell polarity, meaning the cell has a directionality. The top behaves differently from the bottom, and this polarity helps cells transfer macromolecules and ions from one surface to the other, actively. Now let's talk about the apical surface. This is the top surface of the cell, the one that faces the lumen, or the outside world. Remember three things about the apical surface. First, location. The apical surface faces the intestinal lumen, the airway, or the outside world, as in the case of the epidermis. It is also called the free surface of the cell. Second, function. This surface works like a barrier, meaning it does not allow anything from outside to enter directly. Selective absorption takes place, endocytosis brings things inward, and exocytosis and secretion send things outward. Third, microvilli. The apical surface is often covered with microvilli. These are small, finger-like projections that dramatically increase the surface area, especially for absorption. In the intestine, these are called the brush border. Key term to remember. The cytoplasm adjacent to the apical surface is called the apical cell domain. Now let's move to the basolateral surface. This is the bottom and sides of the cell, which faces the inside of the body, meaning blood and connective tissue. Understand it in three parts. Basal surface. In a single-layered epithelium, this surface faces the basal lamina. It is the complete opposite of the apical surface. Lateral surfaces. These are the side walls of the cell. The basal and lateral surfaces together form the basolateral domain. Dissolved gases. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, these are nonpolar gases, so they do not require any active transport. They freely diffuse across the basolateral surface, between the cell and the bloodstream. Role in transport. Cells actively transport substances across the basolateral surface, moving digested nutrients from the intestinal lumen into the blood capillaries, and endocrine secretions into the bloodstream. Now we come to a very important concept, tight junctions, also called occluding junctions or zonula occludens. What are they? Imagine, cell A and cell B are sitting side by side. Between them, right at the top, near the apical surface, there is a tight seal, called the tight junction. What does it do? This seal is so tight that even small ions cannot pass through the paracellular space, meaning the gap between the two cells. Why is this important? Because if this seal did not exist, the contents of the lumen would pass directly into the blood, without any selective filtration, and the body's entire system would be disrupted. The tight junction has one more role. It keeps the apical and basolateral domains completely separate, so that the environment on both sides of the epithelium is maintained. Now let's do a quick comparison. Apical versus basolateral, side by side. Location. Apical faces the lumen or the outside world. Basolateral faces the basal lamina and blood vessels. Cytoplasm. Apical domain, present near the apical surface. Basolateral domain, present near the basal and lateral surfaces. Transport. Apical, endocytosis, exocytosis, and secretion. Basolateral, active transport into blood and connective tissue. Surface feature. Apical. Has microvilli to increase surface area. Basolateral, no special projections. Gas exchange. Apical, not the primary site for gas exchange. Basolateral, oxygen and carbon dioxide freely diffuse across this surface. Barrier role. Apical, yes, restricts access from the external compartment. Basolateral, remains open to the internal compartment. This table is perfect for direct exam questions. Take a screenshot right now. Now let's memorize this, for life, with one simple trick. Apical means A for air side. Think of the top floor of a building that faces the street. Just like the apical surface faces the lumen, or the outside world. Basolateral means B for blood side. Think of the ground floor of a building where deliveries come in from the back. Just like the basolateral surface faces the blood and connective tissue. Now, 3 clinical pearls. First, cholera. What does the cholera toxin do? It disrupts the apical ion channels of the intestinal epithelium, causing massive fluid secretion into the lumen. The result? Severe watery diarrhea. Apical disruption equals diarrhea. Remember this. Second, MCQ tip. If a question asks, which surface faces the lumen? The answer is apical. If a question asks, which surface contacts the basal lamina? The answer is basal. Simple. Third, operation theater relevance. When we take oral drugs, they are first absorbed through the apical surface in the intestine, and then they exit through the basolateral surface into the bloodstream. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to Gray's Gyan, and hit the bell icon, so you never miss a video.